There has been no shortage of discussion about this year being the most talented group of skilled position players with whom Patrick Mahomes has ever played. And on the offensive side of the ball, a lot of that focus is on the fact that they have one of the greatest tight ends of all time in Travis Kelce, who seems to be on a mission to renew himself after last year. They have a running back in Isaiah Pacheco, who has almost hit 1,000 yards on two separate occasions in his career. They have a running back in Brashard Smith that seems to be electric, and Elijah running back that is blanked on his last name for a moment, but absolutely electric if he's healthy, and Kareem Hunt, who has proven time and again that if nothing else, he can fall forward and gain 3 yards. But at the wide receiver position, there has been a lot of talk as well, and all of it seems to revolve around those top four names, and understandably so. Rashee Rice is poised to have a breakout season. Xavier Worthy may also be poised to have a breakout season if he is able to capitalize on what it was that he did in the Super Bowl. One of the better Super Bowl performances of all time. You have to look at it that way. But also Hollywood Brown becomes their third or fourth wide receiver, and Jalen Royals fell to them in the fourth round of the draft and became an instant steal. But the talent, if we're talking about talent, not productivity, the talent goes deeper even than that. However, there are naysayers. In an article titled Chiefs Market Movers OTA Edition, subtitled Which Kansas City Players Are Trending Up or Down During Organized Team Activities from Arrowhead Pride by Matt Stagner, we get, and I say this lovingly, okay? I was born in Kansas City. I live in Kansas City. This is our reputation, and probably rightfully so. We'll get to this in a moment, but in the Bears portion of that article, he lists Tyquan Thornton, which might be understandable if you don't know what's going on in OTAs. But Tyquan Thornton has kind of been tearing things up in OTAs. And the writer gives us the following. This might be a contrarian point of view since the former second-round pick has been making a splash at OTAs, but it happens every single season. Fast receivers look good in the offseason program. Thornton has been showing off his speed while making lots of plays with quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Those are all good things, right? That's what you would expect. I just wouldn't expect that to continue. For Thornton to make the team, he's going to have to fend off Royals, Rice, and Worthy, not to mention Brown and Smith-Schuster. Honestly, none of that's true. None of that is true. Royals, Rice, Worthy, they're on the team. Brown, I've got him a little bit lower on the totem pole, but 90% he's on the team. Those are four names. The Chiefs will carry 5, 6, or 7 wide receivers. It's reasonable to think that the excitement for Thornton might fade, although we'd love to be wrong. So I mentioned this as being the most Kansas City thing earlier, and this is 1,000%. You cannot tell me this is not what we do. We love to take a good situation and just to couch ourselves against our expectations, we want to say but there's something negative there. That is the most Kansas City attitude. And again, I'm from here. I live here. I can say this. You have to admit that's us. But I do think that there is something to examine here. First off, let's get it out of the way. Who is Tyquan Thornton? If you've never heard of Tyquan Thornton, you're not alone. You're not alone. A former second-round pick, for sure. An RAS score of 8.56. 33 and a quarter, or 33 and an eighth inch arms. 6'2", 181 pounds, a little on the skinny side. 4.28, 40-yard dash. 1.41 10-yard split. Something that is not... So, okay. I've seen this both of these ways. I think it actually is a 1-4-1 10-yard split because I've seen it 1-4-1 and 1-5-1 in different locations. But we're going to go with 1-4-1 for now. We'll get there in a moment. With a bit of a problem with the agility drills, but when you're talking about tall, wide receivers with extreme speed, they're one of two builds. Guys who are tall and fast and super agile, or guys who are tall and fast and they're just running straight, baby. He is just running straight, baby. Let's compare Tyquan Thornton then to Xavier Worthy. Now, Xavier Worthy is 5'11" and a quarter. Tyquan Thornton is 6'2" and 3/8, close, or closer to 6'3" than Xavier Worthy is to 6 foot. Or no, that's not quite right. Pardon my math. But 181 pounds on a 6'2" and 3/8 inch frame versus the 165 pound on Xavier Worthy's 5'11" frame. Kind of comparable builds there. But you're also looking at a guy who has arms that are 2 inches longer than Xavier Worthy's, hands that are somehow smaller than Xavier Worthy's, a 4.28 40-yard dash on that 6'2" frame versus the 4.21 on Xavier Worthy's 5'11" frame. There we go with that 10-yard split. If it's a 1-4-1, that might be a world record. But I've seen it done I've seen it both ways in multiple places for Tyquan Thornton, so I am not sure which one to believe. But 1-4-1 or 1-5-1, Xavier Worthy's 10-yard split was 1-4-9. Xavier Worthy with a 41-inch vertical, Tyquan Thornton with a 38.5-inch vertical. Then you have an exact broad jump number between the two of them, the exact same broad jump, 10 foot, 11 inches, nearly an 11-foot broad jump. You see up here that broad jump, 9.62. Also different vertical leap numbers. So if it's a 38.5, I'm 99% positive that puts him in the green here, but different numbers, different places. So here, what I'm about to say is going to be not non-controversial. Doesn't mean it's going to start a controversy. It might not be controversial, but it's not non-controversial. Rashee Rice is a lock for the roster. Xavier Worthy is a lock for the roster. Jalen Royals is a lock for the roster. Hollywood Brown, I'm only at 90%. And maybe I am erring too far toward what I think. Because here's what I think. If Hollywood Brown so much as catches a cold in the preseason, I'm trading him. If Hollywood Brown has an ingrown toenail or jams a finger, I'm trading him. If Hollywood Brown waits too long at a stop sign, I'm trading him. I do not trust him to stay healthy. So if anyone on the roster can emerge and be a legitimate number 4 wide receiver, I'm trading Hollywood Brown. Now, you might say, but they just re-signed him. They just re-signed him before they added Jalen Royals in the draft. So, this was another move from Brett Veach, which is hedging bets. So, okay, but probably you're looking at the top 4 on the list there. Rice, Worthy, Royals, Brown. We will assume that Hollywood stays on the roster. Then we have the bubble guys. To me, looking at these names right now, the bubble guys are Juju Smith-Schuster, Tyquan Thornton, Nikko Remigio, and Elijah Badger. I have touted Elijah Badger. I think that Elijah Badger can be a complete type of wide receiver. Therefore, I think he offers more upside than any of those 3 names listed above him. Juju Smith-Schuster at this point is going to be a solid possession type wide receiver. So you are looking at a guy who can maybe make a few catches a game. We saw him go off in the Saints game last year. Didn't really hear from him after that. Then we come to Tyquan Thornton, who is this speed merchant who has not yet produced at the NFL level, but he's never had Patrick Mahomes pulling the trigger. And then there's Nikko Remigio, a guy who, as I have said for a very long time now, his main selling point for me is that he sells out to make the catch. We have seen the Chiefs struggle several times in the past few seasons with wide receivers who simply don't make the catch. Some of them don't put the effort out there, Mecole Hardman. Some of them turn before they secure the catch. Whatever the problem is, some guys have just not consistently caught the football. Nikko Remigio, should he get the chance, there is no doubt in my mind. If he is targeted and the ball is good, he's making the catch. Now, I think that sometimes that stops him a little bit short in the run after the catch department, because if the ball is slightly off target, he leaves his feet and makes sure that ball is caught. Well, sometimes that means you land on your knees and you get tagged down. So, he also adds a very good punt returning aspect. We saw him do it a few times last year where maybe he didn't break it all the way off, but he made the opposing team have to respect the Chiefs in the return department. So all of these guys offer something to keep them on the roster. Juju Smith-Schuster, that possession guy who's going to be in the right spot and probably make the catch. Tyquan Thornton, the speed merchant, down the field, open things up, take the top off the defense. Remigio with a good catching ability and the ability to return punts. And Elijah Badger, who does just a little bit of all of it. From this group, I'll just run down the rest of it real quick. I believe Magdalena will probably be on the practice squad this year. Justin Ross, I spelled it wrong. Justin Ross, I just don't think he has it anymore. I just don't. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it in the practice film, thing like that. But I think that he's probably... I'm torn here because if you're the coaching staff and Justin Ross has proven to you that he's a practice squad level individual, there's a good chance that you cut him because he's been a practice squad individual for a matter of seasons now. So if he is a practice squad guy, maybe he just doesn't make the cut. Then you have the last three names on the roster here, Jimmy Holiday, Sky Moore, and Jason Brownlee. I do not expect any of these names to be on the roster. Maybe Sky Moore should be higher. I can't do it. Maybe Sky Moore should be higher. Let me clarify, because we know Andy Reid. Because we know Andy Reid will be loyal to guys. So now let's go back up here. 4, right? 4 guys making the roster, leaving us with 1, 2, or 3 bubble names. When you're looking at this list, you have to take into account the different things the guy can bring to the team. In my opinion, Elijah Badger is, at this point in time, the most well-rounded of these players. So I would put Rice, Worthy, Brown, Royals, Badger. Now we have 0, 1, or 2 names between Juju, Tyquan, and Nikko. And it's going to be interesting, guys, because you know they want to open things up. Nikko does not have down the field speed, but he has down the field capabilities. Juju does not. I don't think you want to target Juju downfield. Tyquan can open things up. I think from this group of names, Juju, Tyquan, and Nikko, Tyquan stands out. If you're only taking one more of those guys, if you're taking 6 wide receivers and Elijah Badger makes the team, I think you're taking Tyquan Thornton out of this group. Why? Because his size-speed combination. What happens when Hollywood Brown misses a game? What happens when Xavier Worthy sits out a week? If you have a Tyquan Thornton on the roster, you have a player to plug and play in that role of the offense, not just that spot on the field. So that is it. That's what I have for this video, guys. I will be back later with a video, not today, but at some point, running down each of the position groups, talking about my thought process behind the lock, percentage, bubble, practice squad, low odds guys. But anyway, that is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week, and hope to have you back for the next one.